What did he say? Good morning. Welcome to Unity Center of Pittsburgh. It is my honor and pleasure to be with you here this morning in our beautiful space with an intimate little group of 9, and we're excited. My name is Maryann Hackworth, and we're excited because our good friend Steve Treu has traveled here today from Cranberry to give us our message, which is entitled The Narrow Gate. And we're also going to be delighted to introduce Lucy Clabby and Bryce Rabideau as our talented musicians. They're going to open up this Sunday celebration with a beautiful song entitled Morning Has Broken. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning, blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Oh, such a beautiful song. The lyrics remind us to praise with elation, to celebrate our existence, to be grateful for this amazing life. You are an expression of that amazing life. And this life, we call it God, but you may call it by any name, is this power, this incredible power and presence that comes through us, that lives as we are. We are expressions of it. And so, yes, we do praise with elation for this life that we have. Here at Unity Center of Pittsburgh, we developed a vision statement, and it's actually posted right behind me on this amazing bulletin board. We had it created this past year. We envision a spiritually awakened world flowing with divine love. How important that is right now as we are in this time, in this place. We are here for a reason. We exist for purpose. This is not an accident that we are walking on this planet right now envisioning a spiritually awakened consciousness arising in our own minds and in the minds of brothers and sisters all across the planet. So that is our vision statement. And our mission here at Unity is to be a place that is a safe haven, a place where we can come to celebrate with each other, to affirm our own divinity with one another, to teach, to inspire, and to practice positive spiritual living. It's a choice that we make each and every moment and each and every day. And we're so grateful to have Unity Center of Pittsburgh. Let's move into our next song, There Is Only Love.
this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Let that be our opening prayer this morning as we affirm, Divine Creator, there is only love. Love is the one power and presence in the universe. Love is in me, in my heart, and it is in your heart. And we are now awakening to this feeling of love. Love is what breathes us. It is the blood that moves through our bodies. It is in every cell of our being. And so we affirm prayerfully, thank you, God. So it is. Every Sunday, we have a practice that we call lighting our Christ candle. And really, the term Christ candle represents the Christ consciousness, or the divine mind that we access, that inspired mind that lives inside of us, that lets us know that we are only love. And when we light this candle, it represents our knowingness that we have this light and this love within us. So I'm going to light that candle, and then perhaps we can all do our unity principles together. You are the light of the world. Unity principles. God is the source and creator of all. There is no other enduring power. God is good and present everywhere. We are spiritual beings created in God's image. The Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. We create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Through prayer and meditation, we increase our conscious contact with God, bringing forth love, wisdom, health, prosperity, and everything good. Knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. So, unity was founded on the power of our thinking, and our thoughts generally lead to our words and our actions. And so words are extremely important. So we practice affirmative language. And let's practice together this 3 times. We have an affirmation this morning. Let's recite it 3 times. I am in concert with divine order, trusting my way into all that comes next. I am in concert with divine order, trusting my way into all that comes next. I am in concert with divine order, trusting my way into all that comes next. Isn't that a powerful way to release fear? When we place trust in divine order and believe that we are the creators of our lives. We are the thinkers. We are the expressions of this God energy. Sometimes we don't see that because we get caught up in the personalities. There's so many personalities in this world. And when we look at those personalities, we can forget that the individuality within is our essence. It never goes away. It's eternal. That's what we focus upon. So we have another song coming up, a beautiful song, Colors in the Wind.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you, and for once never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends, and we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. For whether we are white or copper skin, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountains. We need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
So beautiful, Lucy and Bryce. I think we take your beautiful voices for granted. You're just incredible. You have beautiful sound. Today's daily word is kindness. I flow with divine love as I give and receive kindness. The word kindness triggers feelings of warmth, connection, and love in my heart. I smile as I recall ways that friends, family members, and others have shown me kindness. I feel again the gratitude and blessing I experienced in those moments. Gratitude, love, and a beautiful awareness of connection fill my heart and mind in a remarkably similar way when I remember kindnesses I've shared. The movement of electrons through a wire creates a current, a flow. As kindness moves from person to person, It creates flow of divine love. Both giving and receiving are essential to this current of love. So I look for opportunities to share acts of kindness. I welcome with a grateful heart the kindness others share with me. And from Micah 6:8, we read, "What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God?" So it is. We bless our children now. I'd like us to bring into our mind's eye any children in our families, in our community that we may know, friends of the family, any child right now that is going through an interesting school year. And we support and love them and uplift them in their learning process. And we infuse them with the knowing that they are exuberant expressions of God. We give them the strength. We know children are so resilient, and yet we support them in their learning process and in their homes. We embrace them now with loving prayer and bless our children of the world. They are our future, and we are grateful for them. This is a time for congregational greeting. For those of you who are on live stream, feel free to type in the chat a hello, and we just greet each other from a safe distance here in the sanctuary. And for anyone who didn't get a welcome packet, maybe we could get a welcome packet for them. I think we have them made up. I just want to say hello. My name is Maryann. I don't think I've ever met you.
I'm Chris.
Chris. Brittany, nice to meet you. Chris and Brittany. There should be a David Warren in there. And basic information. Bobby, right? Bobby. Hello. Can you join us on your last name? I know you're Laura. I remember you, Laura. Hey, John. Welcome and namaste again, Steve. It's wonderful to see faces in the sanctuary, bodies celebrating, and the energy that we bring together. Whether you're at home or whether you're here in this space, there is no distance between us because all are one. So thank you all for being with us this morning. Special song prepared by Lucy and Bryce. I don't know if you'd like to introduce it. You're welcome to do so.
Sure. This is a song called "We Are All in This Together" by Ben Lee. It's a song that I rediscovered from my youth, that I rediscovered early in quarantine, and it seemed appropriate for the times. Woke up this morning, I suddenly realized we're all in this together. I started smiling, 'cause you were smiling, and we're all in this together. I'm made of atoms, you're made of atoms, and we're all in this together. And long division just doesn't matter, 'cause we're all in this together. I saw you walking in the city, we're all in this together. The city's changing, 'cause we are changing, and we're all in this together. Every 12 seconds, someone remembers that we're all in this together. In the kitchen of your rent-controlled apartment, we're still all in this together. Come on, baby, I don't mean to rush you. I only wanted to reach out and touch you. I gotta start to open my heart. think about jumping ship before it sinks, but we are all in this together. Ask a scientist, it's quantum physics. We're all in this together. And on the subway, we feel like strangers, but we're all in this together. I love you and you love her and she loves him, but we are all in this together. Yeah. You know, baby, there's never been protection in all the history of human connection. Come on, darling, it's alright to show me that you don't ever need to be lonely once you start to open your heart. I saw you crying, I started crying, 'cause we're all in this together. And then religion, it's a big decision, but we're all in this together. Yeah, we are all in this together. 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 Yeah, we are all in this together. Yeah, we are all in this together. Yeah, we are all in this together. We are all in this together.
Beautiful. Let's pray together. Let us align our minds and our hearts together right now. We have the power to uplift one another, uplifting each other in consciousness. Let us see this world spiritually awakening. Let us feel this mind of God growing within our own so that we can express divine ideas, inspired ideas, ideas of wholeness and health, prosperity of every kind, ideas of compassion, everything growing. We pray this right now outward into the world. We envision our government growing in integrity, allowing the transition to occur from one to another, and allowing these feelings of separation to wash away, dissolving. We allow this through prayer, God. We allow integrity and wisdom. Wisdom is growing in consciousness, here and now. That is our prayer. Wisdom is different than intellect, and we invite wisdom to grow within us and in all. And so it is. Let's have a prayerful song with Lucy, When I Pray.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
Right here and right now, as we pray, we feel the power and presence of the divine. It fills our mind and our heart with certainty and assurance that all is well, and and all is unfolding in divine order. So it is.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
And from that prayerful state, this relaxed state that you have, please, let's move into a brief meditation. And I ask you just to sit, allow the chair to support you wherever you are, whether you're home or in the room. Just release the tension from your shoulders, your arms, your feet. And just allow yourself to be fully in this moment with a deep cleansing breath. Inhaling. And as you exhale, release fear and worry. Allow the now moment to come alive. Feel yourself in this moment. Breathing in and breathing out. If thoughts arise, release and let them float away. Feel yourself as a vessel with the current of love moving through it. Feel the aliveness in your body. You are life. You are wholeness. You are complete, exactly as you are. Breathe in this certainty. Feel this aliveness moving through your hands, through the soles of your feet. Open yourself to receive more life. Breathing it in and breathing it out. Allow the feeling of gratefulness to fill your mind. Grateful to be who you are. Perfection. You are the perfection that is held in the mind of God. You are intended to be here now. And as you breathe in again deeply and smile into the knowing of who you really are, what you really are. It's an amazing expression of divine mind. And as we open our eyes again in this space, wherever we are, just appreciate everything that's around you. Thank you. And so it is. Oh, we're so happy to introduce Steve Treu. He usually comes to us every 2 or 3 months, I would say. He is a very deep thinker. And yeah, I think so. And he is a certified clinical counselor. And he uses a lot of these spiritual truths in his work. We're so grateful. He's bringing his message this morning is the narrow gate. So welcome, Steve Treu.
Good morning. It's nice to be here again. So, in all the years of going to Sunday morning services, nobody had ever said the words quantum physics before. And prior to that, I heard electrons. So, normally I bring that up, and I'm thrilled to hear. Sure enough, maybe one day we'll do a full hour on why the physics demonstrates we're all in this together. If it's not too late, maybe I can change the name of this to We're All in This Together, because that's pretty much what I'm going to be talking about today. Well done. Did we talk beforehand, your music? Okay, very good. Excellent. Yes, that's indeed what we'll be talking about, how we're in this together. And when it comes to the Christ consciousness, that's the idea of being the type of thinker that actually includes everybody. And that means everybody. There's nobody that's not included, and we'll be talking about that today. My experiences as a therapist, I'll go all day long back and forth from people from all, across the board, from, either side of the political aisle, all walks of life, all religions. And the thing that I have to make sure that I'm always constantly aware of is that my job isn't to do anything other than try to help people feel better. Okay, that's my job as a therapist. People come to me because they're struggling with something. Nobody comes because they're so happy they just want to share it with me. Okay, I'm struggling with something. And what I've found over time that there is a way to unify. There's a very specific way that it's never going to work if we have any level of separation between anybody. If we want to get to the Christ consciousness, we have to get to a place where we see that in everybody. So we're going to go through this today, very specifically using the master teacher of Christ consciousness, Jesus himself, talking about these very specific things. Now, what I'm trying to get better at, making sure that I start most of my speeches and lectures and messages that I give all throughout various communities with this idea. It's been a very political year. You're probably well aware of that, okay? What we're going to be talking about today is spirituality, okay? Politics and spirituality often don't mix very well. We're going to talk about how you can get them to mix. But I like to avoid arguments by saying, I'm going to be talking to you about spirituality. I'll be mentioning politics, because that's part of the division that we're experiencing. But in order to do this right, I like to make it clear and reference Matthew 16:23. Now, this is the passage in which Jesus had just told the disciples that he was going to be crucified. And what does Peter say to him? No, that can't happen to you. We're going to stop this. We do not want that to happen to you. And what does Jesus say? Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man. Now, the Greek word for politics is politikos. And the essential meaning of that word is the things of man. In essence, Jesus could have said, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but you're thinking about politics, because you're worried about what's going to happen to me physically. And Jesus was in the middle of demonstrating that God's got this, okay? God's always been our president, always will be. We don't need to worry about the politics so much if we're focused on the spirituality. So I'll be mentioning politics today, but we are going to be emphasizing the spiritual message, the things of God. Because every 4 or 8 years, we get a new president, and that president in the initial speech always says something like this: time to unify the country. Right? You can bank on it. It's going to happen every 4 or 8 years. We're going to unify. Forget the last year of arguing and the bitterness and the division and all that infighting. And it doesn't matter which political aisle that you're on. It's always time to unify the country. Now, the political way to unify the country is time to get people to agree with us now, okay? Get everybody else to change their opinion and agree with us. That's what political unity is. Now, I would suggest that God's definition of unity is best exemplified by another passage from Jesus. Mark 12:29, when he was asked the most important commandments, Jesus didn't start off with do not kill. You'd think that would be a pretty good one, right? He doesn't start with that. He doesn't mention them. Basically, he goes completely off script and he says, you know what? The most important commandment is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. That would be unity, okay? The Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And the second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So I'll ask you, what's your definition of unity? The political definition? Let's get everybody to agree with us and our physical points of view. Or God's definition of unity, which is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Which definition should we go by? Well, if we're going to love each other and practice unity, we're going to have to move past all the political stuff. We can come back to it, and we're going to today, come back to how to work with politics, but why spirituality has to come first. See, loving your neighbor as yourself does not mean just people that you like. It means everybody, illustrated by Luke 6:32. If you only love those who love you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good only to those who do good to you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. But I tell you to love your enemies, and your reward will be great. Now, this is critically important. Again, politically, it's pretty easy to see what happens. We got one group of people pitted against another group of people, and we join together in cliques, and we love it when we get people to agree with us. We don't like it when people don't agree with us. That's the world of politics. The world of spirituality knows how to bridge that gap. Loving thy enemy. This is the true key to unity, loving your enemy. In the essential part of Matthew 7:13. Enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. And those who enter by it are many, for the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life. And those who find it are few. See, the wide gate is when things go well. The wide gate is what everybody wants, a nice, smooth life where everybody agrees with you and there's no adversity. That would be the wide gate, and that's what most people are trying to do, and all of us try to do that at some point. There's actually nothing wrong with attempting to do that. It's just not going to go that way. The narrow gate, indeed, is embracing all of our adversities and learning how to love our enemies. That's the narrow gate. Not many people find that. See, politically, we only really work with people who love us for the most part. That's where all the intensity comes from, because we're disagreeing with each other so much. The unity is going to come in figuring out how to love our enemies. Now, we're going to do two things. We're going to first clarify what love means, and I've got 3 different ways to talk about it, okay? What does that mean to love your enemy? Starting with this. In Corinthians 13:4, we've all heard this many times. I'm going to paraphrase it. Love is patient, it's kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs, it protects, trusts, hopes, and perseveres. This is how we have to love our enemies. I don't see politicians doing that much. Okay? The fact is, in the presence of others who we might call an enemy, what do we have to be? Patient with each other, kind with each other, not envying, not boasting, right? Not dishonoring. This means no trash talking, okay? No using your word to try to hurt others. That's not love. It's not easily angered. I don't think we're living in a society that's not easily angered. We're hair trigger anger now. Love is to not get easily angered, although there's a little wiggle room there. It says not easily. You can get angered. There's a role for it. Jesus certainly got angry sometimes, but it was righteous. It doesn't keep record of wrongs. It lets things go pretty easily. How many times do you have to see a debate where people are bringing up, you did this and you did that, and argue and all that kind of stuff? It goes on and on and on. Now, to pull this off is to recognize this. You do not have to like your enemy. That's very key. right? Love your enemies different than liking. I'm quite confident Jesus did not like being on the cross. That's not something that he was enjoying, okay? But he was a vessel of love on the cross, wasn't he? That's the key. So you don't have to like the lady that cut your hair bad, right? You don't have to like the New England Patriots. You don't have to like your neighbor, but you do have to love them. How do you do that? You got to be patient. You got to be kind. You got to not envy. You got to not boast. You don't be proud. You're not dishonoring and not self-seeking, and you don't keep record of wrongs. This is how we have to love each other. If you pull that off, now go do politics. But you should be able to tell that because of the feeling that you have inside yourself. As a vessel of love, you should feel that flow being able to go through you. And then go be political. But what happens there, when Jesus says, if you love your enemies, there'll be a great reward, what happens is now you are a peacemaker. The type of peacemaker he says to be in the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the peacemakers, they shall be called children of God. You've just found peace inside yourself. Now you don't need other people to agree with you all the time in order for you to have that peace. You recognize that you've got this, no matter what happens to you. There's the essence of what Jesus was telling Peter. Hey, I'm not interested in what's right or what is fair that's going to happen to me physically. I'm interested in the things of God, which is just being the love that we all are. This is the great reward. Now, secondly, why is it okay or easier to love than you think? Here's why. Because we're all in this together. Life is fair. Whether we know it or not, we're all playing the same game. All of us, all throughout the world, and every religion is playing the same game. We just use different words, okay? Now, I've got this drawing here. I worked very hard on it, so hopefully you can visualize what I've got here. We've got two people, although I made them bald. Usually, I do think God loves bald people more. But usually I tend to put some hair to give a little bit of diversity. So here we have two people who both have a spot inside themselves that we can just call Christ. Okay? Each person has a little piece of God or a connection to the source inside of them. Everybody has this. Jesus says we are the light of the world. And Paul says the mystery is Christ is in you. Not everybody understands it as the word Christ, but it doesn't change it. Everybody has it. There's just different levels of growth and development here. The Muslims have a way of describing this by saying we are separated from God by 70,000 veils. There's some sort of barrier, it seems, between us and God. And the poet Rumi says, were we to love in each moment, we'd remove 100 veils. Here's the problem. How good are we at, or how consistent are we at being love? It goes fast, doesn't it? You love for a few moments, and then you go back to resenting and fearing and shame and guilt and all of that. If we were to love in each moment, doing the math of Rumi here, we're 700 moments away from being done. Okay, that's it. Well, how good are we at staying focused? We're not. We let it go pretty quickly. As soon as you hear some news you don't like, or somebody crosses your path that irritates you or whatever, you stop loving. 700 moments away, all right, let's stay focused. So what we have is two different people here, and they both have this seed, and they're both are playing the same game, and they don't even necessarily know it, but that's what's happening. It's as if when we're born, you're given an acorn, and you're told at some point you have to grow this into an oak tree. Now, if you don't get busy planting it and nurturing it, it's not going to grow, but it doesn't change the fact that you've got an acorn in your hand. Everybody has a Christ seed inside of them. Everybody does. Everybody's connected to the source. Everybody is the love. All of us are doing this, whether we know it or not, but it's by different degrees of development. We have different people in different stages of the game. I think of it as grade school. And some people are in first grade, some second grade, some third grade, some 12th, although according to the Islam way of thinking, 70,000 grades perhaps. And people are in different levels. Now, I ask you, is the 11th grader better than the third grader? Is the sapling better than the acorn? Is the oak tree better than the sapling? We are in different levels of development. None better than anybody. That's very important. Is the rose bush that bloomed in 1973 better than the one that bloomed in 2013? No. This is how we have to perceive each other. All of us playing the same game, all of us in together, all of us with this Christ seed, all of us connected to the source, just different levels of development. If a 11th grader sees a 3rd grader and thinks they're stupid because they're in 3rd grade and don't know what that I know in 11th grade, you just diminished yourself, okay? But when you see that 3rd grader as love too, maybe with a different level of ignorance, maybe there's some veils that perhaps you've removed, it doesn't make you any better. And if you're on the other end of it, if you are the 3rd grader and you see others who perhaps are doing it better, so it seems, they're not any better than you. It's just degrees of growth. What is this? The great reward. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. See, mercy is when you see someone else who might not be as enlightened as you, and you're okay with them right where they're at. Just like a kindergartner teacher, for the most part, can be patient with a bunch of kindergartners. It's tough work. It's tough work to stay Christ conscious and Christ focused, right? And yet, that's what the love is. Blessed are the merciful. See others who perhaps don't see it the way you see it, and be totally fine with it. Offer them the love and the light. Up into the master of this, Jesus on the cross itself, himself, saying, I love you and I forgive you no matter what you do to me. 3rd, love is good mental health, okay? The fact is, there's a reward right away. Love itself, I call it immunity through unity. When you are connected to the source and you're connected via love all the time, guess what? It gives you an immunity where other people's stuff just doesn't bug you so much. Clarity is the same thing. Once you realize everybody has to develop their acorn into an oak tree, once you know that, now we've got a fair playing field. Everybody throughout the world stays in this loop. The Buddhists and Hindus call this samsara, the loop that we're all in until we all realize we're divine. That might take a while. But everybody's doing this. There's no reason to judge someone else. Doesn't every prophet say one way or another not to judge each other? Although Jesus says judge correctly in John 7:24. Here's the correct judgment. We all have a little spot of God inside ourselves. Everybody does. No matter who you think your enemy is, everybody's got this. The great reward of recognizing love as good mental health, love produces endorphins, right? Love produces serotonin. Love produces a whole lot of good brain chemistry. This is why people like to use drugs, because it's imitating that feeling. When you have love flowing through you, you could say, blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Love gives you the ability to see clearly. And now you can realize everybody's right where they need to be in the process. Everybody's right where they need to be, and we're all interconnected. In fact, your enemies in many ways are actually there to help you grow. So why is this so hard to love? Because we all have the same common enemy. We all have this thing called the ego, all right? This way of thinking that feels like separation, that feels like it's unfair, that doesn't see this, that doesn't understand love, that thinks love means you have to bake someone a pie and give them a hug. You don't have to do that. You just have to keep being the love. It's a common human enemy called the ego, and all of us are fighting this. The key is to recognize all of us also have to crucify this. We have to understand what the ego is and learn how to put it in its place. And it takes adversity to do that. If we just have things going well all the time, and we just love that, we'll never get there. To rise up into Christ consciousness takes adversity. This is why Rumi says the wound is where the light enters. In order to get good at this, we're going to have to get wounded a few times. And all of us have been. Viktor Frankl, here's a guy with great street cred, Holocaust survivor. He said, to give light, one must endure burning. I love that imagery, right? The candle itself gives off the light, but isn't it burning in order to do so? This means we need our adversity. English author Jane Austen said, we do not suffer by accident. That's because the world is set up in a dualistic way to have adversity. We're always going to have an opponent. We're always going to have an enemy. This, in fact, is Buddha's first noble truth, that the world is suffering. If you're here, you're going to suffer. This is everybody. Nobody breaks free from this. Everybody has to do this. We are living in a world of duality, and by design, suffering is going to come from it. We are part physical, part spiritual, and we're experiencing that right now. The challenge is you're either going to see that in a dual way or you're going to see that in a unified way. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, all beings are confounded at birth by apparent opposing dualities. All beings, which includes everybody, are confounded, meaning it's confusing after a while, by apparent opposing dualities. See, it seems like there's a left and a right, and a tall and a short, and a fat and a thin, and a alive and dead, and all. It seems like all these dualities are there, but guess what? Love has no bounds. Love is all of this. There are no apparent opposing dualities because it's all just love. On this duality, Alan Watts, the British Buddhist teacher, said, it is by this tension of the play of opposites where we find the love that makes the world go round. See, we need that friction. We need that adversity. We've all got it. We're all going through it, and that's where the love is found. The famous Ecclesiastes verse on duality. For everything there's a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, which means you don't have to hug everybody. A time to keep silent, a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, a time for peace, a time for a Republican president, and a time for a president who's a Democrat. And guess what? 4 years later, it's going to go back, and then 8 years later, it's going to go back, and it's going to go back again and again and again, and no side is going to be able to say, we've won. That's never going to happen. We're in a world of duality. There needs to be opposites. Americans have largely come as far as we're going to be able to come politically. It's not going to change. I work with people every hour who are good people who disagree with each other. And you have to go, well, what's the commonality here? A lot of people think, well, I'm right because of this or that. Well, both sides are doing that. Well, here's the commonality. We've got the Christ seed. We have to actually break through this very difficult thing called the ego to see the light in the other person. It's supposed to go back and forth. Our job is to see the unity. This is a person who has eyes to see and ears to hear, as Jesus would say. We have to see what we think is the bad stuff as good stuff. Do not eat off the tree of good and evil. Eat off only the tree of life. This is, blessed are the persecuted in righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You go through adversity, you go through trials and tribulations, you have enemies, guess what? Love them, yours is the kingdom of heaven. What good is it if you just love the good stuff? It means you have to love the New England Patriots too, right? If you want to unify, you need not try to convince others of anything. What was Jesus doing on the cross? Saying, that's a bad idea. You shouldn't do this. This is unfair. You're hurting me. No, he wasn't doing that at all. He trusted God, and it was hard for him. Take this cup from me. Why have you forsaken me? It was hard. Makes him relatable. But if we think we're going to somehow change the world by changing the American political establishment, that's not going to happen. It's going to keep going back and forth. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And if that's the rhythm by which you live, you'll never get to the Christ consciousness. In fact, Course in Miracles says exactly this. The only way to help anybody is to only see the light in them. This little dot that I drew. In fact, in Hebrew, Israel means connection to God. The Israel that Jesus was talking about is that if you're connected to God, hear, O Israel, the Lord is one. He's talking straight to your heart. If you know this is true, and I know you've got it too, now I only see the light in you. And if that's how I perceive you, by always looking for the light in you, now we've got it. And now I can stand in the presence of an enemy and still love them, even though I might disagree with them. This puts a good spin on Matthew 5:39. Jesus says, I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other cheek also. We cannot read the Bible literally. I would never give that advice to my kid. He's in first grade. Son, I want you to remember, if somebody hurts you today, tell them to keep hurting you. Turn the other cheek. Let them slap you over here. It's not a literal teaching. It's saying going from the physical part of the self, one cheek, to the spiritual part. Turn the other cheek. Go to the light. Go to the love. Go to the Spirit. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't stop a person from hurting you. The evil is the energy. It is the physics, the connection between us. And if you feel that energy, turn the other cheek. Offer love. Give back love. Pray. Think. Recognize they are ignorant. They don't know what they're doing. That's how you turn the other cheek. All the way up to Matthew 5:48. Be perfect, Jesus said, as your Father in heaven is perfect. That means stay in this love zone. That's our job. Stay focused on love all the time. That's what perfection is. That's loving God with all your mind. Don't worry about the speck in your neighbor's eye when you have log in your own. That's the key. If anything, this is what you could see happening in the political dynamic. A bunch of people telling a bunch of other people why they're wrong, why you need to agree with me. And it comes to this. If you're going to be spiritual, don't worry about a speck in their eye when you've got a log in your own. Remove that log. And Paul says, work out your own salvation. Find your own divine spark. So let's end with where we started, Matthew 16:23. After Jesus said, get behind me, Satan, he goes on to tell his disciples this. If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Whoever saves his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. It's specifically referring to our physical identity. It's specifically saying the ego. We have to lose that in order to find the eternal life. If we're stuck in the ego aspect of things, we're only going to see differences and separation. We're going to see the left and the right. And we're going to argue over that. We must deny that in order to find eternal life. Then he says, for what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Here's where we have free will. We have the choice. You want to try to gain the physical world? Again, that's how I see politics for the most part. A bunch of people arguing over what to do with stuff, right? Fine, you can play that game. But first, Jesus puts it in the right order. Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of heaven and all the rest will be added to you. If you want to be good politically, bring love to the dynamic all the time. All the time. Bring it in. Bring trust and bring respect. And don't keep record of wrongs and all of that. And then go play our political games. I can even watch the Steelers and root for them to win. That's okay. We're allowed to enjoy the physical world. We're allowed to root for things. There's going to be a left and a right and an ebb and a flow and an up and a down and a good and a bad and all of that. But now we've maintained love. God before politics. Love your enemies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve Treu. Excellent message today. I hope that you can take those words of wisdom and those ideas and carry them forth into this week. Don't you love that spiritual truths can give you peace of mind? Don't you love that? Don't you love that in all of the turmoil and struggle, whereas the suffering, as he put it, that you can find this inner core that Jesus called the kingdom of heaven lying within us. And Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, back in the mid-1800s, discovered that when they created this. They didn't intend to create a spiritual philosophy, but it grew to become unity. And Charles said that you can quicken this. That was the terminology that they used, is a quickening inside of you of these powers. Inside of us, we know the truth of who we are, and so it's quickening, right? You feel it. It's awakening. So thank you, Steve. I love when you come and give us such good inspiration, and you tie it in so excellent. I love it. Thank you. I wanted to go into our next prosperity practice. So prosperity is the source, knowing the source is within us, and the source is manifesting in our life experiences. So we prosper in so many ways. We prosper through our relationships, through the work that we do, through the thoughts that we have, through the financial flow. We prosper in all ways. Prosperity is feeling good about life, having a sense of well-being. And all of it comes through source. So when we give financially to the source of our inspiration here at Unity, we do so from a sense of joy and not from a sense of duty or obligation. It comes from joy and happiness. So whatever your givingness is, whatever your gift, let's do a prayer of gratitude for prosperity. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And so it is. We have a closing song, which is Holy, Holy, Holy.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. Spirit divine, come to me. Feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love lives in me. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy. Spirit divine, come to me. Feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. You are whole. We are whole.
You are whole. You are holy. Beautiful. Final remarks. We have an exciting guest speaker that's coming the last Sunday of the month, and it'll be come through Skype, but we will have it on our screen. And she's coming to us from Canada, and she is her name is Deidre Francois. It is an all music and message service, so she's going to be doing a lot of singing as well as her message will be intertwined. And it is a message of gratitude. We have the month of Thanksgiving coming up, so this is a time to really immerse ourselves in gratitude. So please come and tune in for that. Also, of course, Vince Lisi will be here next Sunday, and he also will be Skyping. So Vince is in Ohio, and he's not going to drive in from Ohio, so feel free to watch him or come in and watch him here, because we're still going to have our music live. Yes. So yeah, thank you all for coming. It's been great to be in your presence. And we have a peace song. We generally finish with that, if you'd like to join in.
Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Now there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment.
The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Have an amazing week. We'll see you next time.